Have you ever wondered how to choose a strum pattern for a song that you're maybe working on or trying to figure out or jamming along with others to? I'm Kevin from Relax and Learn Guitar, where I teach folks over 40 how to play guitar so they can relax and have some fun. I've had some member questions, some emails lately on the subject of how to choose a strum pattern. So I decided to do a couple of lessons here live on YouTube. This is the second one. Last week there was a lesson, we covered a couple of patterns, one for rock, one for blues. If you haven't seen that one, I'll put a link in the description and you can check it out. And tonight we're going to do a little country patterns, or a couple, about three I've got planned for you. Let's see who's on and what's going on. Terry's here. What's up, Terry? Terry's here and ready to rock. You're in the right place. Hope you've been doing well. Terry and Vic says hi. So the thing with strum patterns and kind of guitar in general, there's so many choices. And what I always tell the folks I work with is that as long as something sounds good, it is good. So I don't really get caught up in a lot of specifics on the technical way or progression to get, to crush the guitar and basically master it. I'm much more about learning as you go, enjoying the journey as you're working along through it. Hey, what's up, Lou? Glad you can make it. So tonight we're going to do a couple more patterns. So before I get started, there's a couple of things that I give people as suggestions when you're thinking about this kind of thing and what to do next. Hey, what's up, Anthony? The first thing I think about when I'm working on a strum pattern is to listen to the drum beat. That might be as simple as the bass and the snare, which we talked about a little bit last week. Looks for the members that are in here tonight and watching, the lessons inside the membership that have to do with country strum patterns is the one that's most close to this lesson. I'm just kind of throwing in the drum machine as a little bit of a change up tonight. So if you want to check things out in detail and watch the video back and get any of the downloads, you can log into the membership and check out the strum pattern lessons. So the first thing I think about is the drums, and especially what the bass and the snare are doing. So that really drives what I choose when I'm playing a strum pattern. The second thing I like to, that you need to kind of be aware of is the tempo, or how fast the song is and how quick it's being played. Hey, what's up? Wendell from Kentucky, just south of us. And the third thing I think about is just the kind of the style of the song. So obviously that's kind of why these lessons are a little different. Last week we did some rock and blues. Tonight's going to sound very different because we're talking about country. So obviously, depending on the type and style of music you're playing, that's going to dictate what your strum pattern is going to sound like. If you kind of go in doing some country strum patterns on a blues, I mean, you can mix stuff up, it's not going to hurt. But as a general rule, I kind of go with the style of the song, the tempo, and what the drums are doing. Those are kind of the three main ones. So tonight I thought I'd show you some for country, and a lot of this is going to have to do with root notes, knowing the root note of a chord. I'm just going to stick with the key of G and do some G. The root is the 6th string. A C, root note is the 5th string. A D, root note's the 4th string. And this one, the first one is just kind of a really standard way to strum along to a country song. It's kind of a little fast for these strum patterns tonight. I'm just using a app with drum beats on it. So you have this kind of a sound. For that, you might do something like this. So you have, I usually say bass. So if you're used to lessons that I do, I'm much more of a bass down, bass down, bass down. it's a little lively. I have a little faster tempo there. So with a faster tempo, you're going to play a little lively with that kind of a sound. That's kind of the first one. You can do that with a lot of different country songs, and it's going to sound fantastic. You want to throw the D in there, you can do that. I also tell folks to think about the guitar a little bit like a drum or a drum set, and the fat strings 6, 5, and 4 are kind of the bass drum, if you will. So last week we talked about like 4 on the floor, the bass drum, then the snare, bass, snare, bass, snare. Think of this guitar as here's the bass part of your drum set, and then the snare is the skinny strings 1, 2, and 3. So for that G chord, you have the bass, snare, and it lines up with that drum beat. Bass, snare, bass, snare. So that's kind of suggestion number 1 for a strum pattern. Hey, what's up, Randy? Glad you could make it. And again, think of the drum set on your guitar as the bass and the snare, the low and the high. You might want to, another suggestion for a strum pattern when I'm thinking about country music, is more of this, a very common drum sound. As I scroll through like 400 options on this app, you have this kind of a sound, which is just quintessential country and kind of reminds me of like a train. And reminds me a lot about Johnny Cash too, or kind of old school country. And you might do a strum pattern like this for this drum beat. So again, when you're hearing that, you've got the bass, and those brushes are kind of doing a t-t. So bass, t-t, bass, t-t. That's the same idea on this drum pattern. You're going to use your bass or root note as the bass drum, and then really accent the treble part or the high part, strings 1, 2, and 3, with a down-up strum. It's pretty fast on this tempo. To the C, use the 5th string. You might hear people say boom chukka, which, one, it's fun to say, but when you hear people say that, that's kind of what they're talking about. There's the boom, boom chukka, boom chukka. You can also get a lot of mileage out of this strum pattern just simply by changing your hand around. For members watching, there's a lesson in the membership about dynamics, and I talk a lot about this. The guitar doesn't have to be super complicated. You can sound really good and very different just by simple adjustments. So if you palm mute, which is just taking the fat part of your hand here, your palm, duh, and you rest it back here on the bridge of your guitar, back toward where your pins are if you're playing an acoustic guitar. You can play around with your guitar and kind of find the sweet spot for your guitar. They're all going to be different. You don't want to be very far up this way, because then you're going to get I don't know where my Appalachian fir just jumped in there real quick. So you have this far up your strings here toward the headstock. You're going to get just muted strings, which is not what you want. You want a muted sound, but you still want the notes and tone to ring out. So just with this strum pattern, if you just mute the bass part, different than this. It's a little different the first way if you're not palm muting. That bass or low end can get kind of lost in the mix. When you palm mute it, you can really accent it. And I'm only palm muting the 6th, 5th strings really. The rest is all kind of ringing out, you know, clear. So that's a bass down up strum. Hey, what's up, Ricky? Better late than never. And then kind of the third choice I want to give you tonight when doing some country strum is same drum beat, the same, I just like these brushes, the same beat. And we're going to just soup it up a little bit. We've been doing this pattern. We're going to double up the bass part. So you see how the drum beat is really what drives, when I'm choosing strum patterns, that's really what's driving it. Because that strum pattern is really mimicking that beat. Pretty much to a T. Take a little work to kind of maybe, you can slow down. I always recommend people start slow and work their way up. So there I'm still palm muting the bass part, but I'm just going down up on the bass. And then a down up strum on the high string. Hope that makes sense. Thumbs ups, or if that makes sense. If you have questions, just let me know. So again, for a quick review, I pay attention to and suggest others do kind of the drum pattern that you're playing along to or playing with or have in your head. At the very least, you should have kind of a metronome click in your head. The tempo also kind of dictates how fast you're going to play that strum pattern, and the style of music. Those are the big three for me. So tonight we've covered kind of 3 choices for some country strum patterns. A bass down, bass down up, or the boom chukka, boom chukka, boom chukka, and then kind of the double bass down up. Hey, what's up, Gary? Glad you can make it. So if you guys have questions about that, pop that in there. Again, since there's been some questions, mostly from Relax on Guitar members about this, I thought I'd kind of work the live YouTube lessons around this topic. So if this has been helpful for you, please click the like button so I know that. And if you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, you can do that and click the notification bell so you'll know and get a little red alert whenever I go live on YouTube. And if you have not yet signed up for free lessons, I'll send free lessons right to your inbox, similar to this lesson, and you can get those delivered right to you, very convenient. I'll leave a link in the description where you can click that link, head over to relaxonguitar.com and sign up. And we got a question from Wendell. I don't have enough rhythm to do the double bass down up. Well, I would say you don't have enough rhythm yet. So if I don't know your level or how long you've been playing, it does take some practice to get there. So again, you can slow it way down. Get this one under your belt first, the bass down up. And double it up. If it's easier, don't worry about the palm mute at first.
Tap your toe.
You should always be tapping your toe while you're playing. You can slow it way down first. So I would say that you don't have the rhythm yet. If you start out slow, you'll eventually get there. It's a little bit of time. You don't want to, ever dread, I've got to learn how to get the rhythm. You want to look forward to it. So I just suggest a little bit each day. The key is a little bit each day rather than a bunch at once. Terry says very helpful. Good to hear. So, hope you like that lesson. I will sign off here and see you guys for the next one. Thanks so much for checking out Relaxing on Guitar and hanging out with me tonight. And keep an eye on your inbox and on your notifications for the next lesson. And for the members here watching, I'll see you in the membership. You guys take care. You're welcome, Wendell. And you're welcome, Terry. And you're welcome, Gary. See you guys later.